Hi, I'm Dr. Rich, and my passion is to provide every woman with practical knowledge about the world of women's health. Today we have a treat. Ellie is going to share with us her story about how she suffered from painful periods from endometriosis and how she got a cure with robotic endometriosis surgery. If you're a young woman who has painful periods or chronic pain, and you've been told that it's in your head, there's nothing that can be done, it's normal, just live with it, you're not crazy, there is hope. Stick around the end to find out what you can do. So, Ellie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Ellie, I'm 38 years old, I'm married, and I have one kid. Right now, I'm studying on my master's to be a school counselor. I've been having pain for the last probably 20 years without nobody ever telling me exactly what was wrong with me.
20 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So that must have been frustrating. Tell us about those frustrations.
It was because since I was a teenager, I always had heavy periods and I was told I was okay. It could be genetic, my family, so I kept on going with my life. But maybe by my 20s, I started going to doctors because I needed to know why they were so painful. They told me, I was too young, just take birth control. Then I got pregnant and I thought, well, maybe after that, my periods won't be as painful. It's still, and actually was worse. So I thought maybe I'm getting older. But all the doctors that I went, all they recommend was a birth control pill, to change my diet, to do exercise, but honestly, never anything. They never told me what was wrong with me, exactly why I was bleeding so much and why I had that much pain.
So that's interesting because it sounds like they kind of had an idea what was going on. There are common conservative therapies for endometriosis, like dietary changes and conservative over-the-counter pain medicines and birth control, but that didn't work for you.
No, and the medicine, true, like I will always knew, okay, I'm, PMSing, so I'm gonna start taking my Motrin or whatever I was prescribed, still never changed. And the thing is that, when you're gonna have your period as a woman and you have to stay in your house for 15 days because of the pain before, the pain during your period, I had no life. Every time I had my period, I had no life. And everybody that knows me around me, they will know already, hey, I can't go, I'm not going, I'm staying home, see you in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's incredibly restrictive, and this went on for years.
No, it is, and it's funny because obviously, bless my husband's heart, he knew that already. And my kid growing up, he will be like, Mom, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing, I'm just laying on the couch for the next week, I'm sorry, buddy, I can do stuff with you, because it was really, really painful. I would get really bloated, and it was very, a lot of flow, so really, I had to stay home.
So at what point did somebody realize there might be something more here, or was that some action that you took finally to get you to us to see how we could help you?
Well, because I started, actually since I was a teenager, that caused me to have anemia. So yes. I have low iron. And again, this was like a whole, go to the hematologist and check everything, and everything was fine. And finally, when we moved here, almost 2 years ago, the doctor told me, okay, go to the hematologist. It didn't work. They told me to go to the gastroenterologist to get endoscopy and colonoscopy to see if I had internal bleeding. I did all that, and it showed that I didn't have anything. It was fine. So finally, they told me, okay, we need to refer you to somebody that's a specialist to see what's going on.
So it's an interesting double-edged sword. You can get caught up in the referral circus, where you go from one specialist to another specialist, and on the face of it, it's fairly obvious that the anemia or the low blood count is a result of the monthly ongoing excessive blood loss. But so as to not leave any stone unturned, you end up getting referred, and fortunately that was a dead end. There was no pathology or nothing wrong.
Yes, thank God. That's a good thing, though.
For internal bleeding.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
But this is not an uncommon story. Many patients end up seeing at least 5 or 6 doctors and even having 2 or 3 surgeries before they end up with an expert who can do an excisional removal of the endometriosis. So we made the decision to proceed with surgery. The surgery was a robotic excision of endometriosis. So there's a lot of disease or scarring in the pelvis that essentially comes from excessive blood. So you bleed a lot, and then some of the blood goes back out through the tubes, and it scars and it causes implants. And so now you're not just menstruating in the uterus and cramping there, you're cramping at all these other sites. So our surgery, we go in and we actually take out all that scarring. We also thin down the lining of the uterus. And how was that result? How did that do for you?
It was amazing. This time after the surgery, when I had my period, I didn't feel absolutely anything. It was amazing, and that's when I saw you and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Like I have no cramps. No, they're gone. They're completely gone.
So looking back, what advice would you have for women, in as much as you had suffered through this for 2 decades, to come and have a pretty minor procedure to get the changes that you've experienced now?
I mean, don't be afraid. I'm telling you, he told me what was gonna happen, and I was like, you know what? My eyes closed. Just do what you can. I know you're gonna fix it, and it did work. I don't know if at what point I was supposed to have a hysterectomy or not, but he did offer me another procedure, and it did work. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of people don't like invasive procedures because it's a surgery, but it was very easy and it was painless.
It sounds like you were able to access some of our content library and become a little bit informed around some of the surgical options. So choosing to not have a hysterectomy and instead do just the removal of endometriosis, what is your life like now?
Well, I actually, I don't have to schedule things around the time when my period is coming. I can just go and have dinner, or if I have to go to work, I don't...
You get to have dinner now?
Yes, I get to have dinner
That's pretty good.
The first day of my period, which that is great, I'm telling you. And I can, for example, if I have to go to work, I have to take a change of clothes with me. I have to, yes.
You have to plan around.
I have to plan, no, not yet. I have to plan, and for the thing, I have to take a lot of water, all my pills, a bunch of stuff. After that, I don't have to, anymore. It's like a normal day, nothing extra.
That's fantastic. A lot of women, especially younger women, whether they're overtly told or they're just made to believe that it is in their head, or that it's normal.
Yes.
Well, the problem is, whoever's telling them that is not the one that's suffering.
No, really, that's another thing. A lot of people, women are intimidated by a male doctor because it's like, well, what do you know? You don't get your periods.
That's true.
It's not painful for you. No, really. And you get it. You don't know the pain, but you get it. You have help. But yeah, I do know that. And again, as a younger person, I will be the same. Believe me, sometimes I'll be like, oh, refer me to a female. I don't want a male, because they don't know. But that needs to change. It's not true.
Well, I think the key is to find a specialist, find someone who has been expert or fellowship trained in excision of endometriosis. If you found this video helpful, please share.